Welcome to the stream, guys. There are gonna be. I want to talk about a little bit about fitness today, and because it's usually on everybody's goal, every year, at the beginning of the year, there's some sort of fitness goal. Whether you're already fit and you're trying to get to the next level, or you're trying to get back in shape, or you're just trying to not be a fat piece of crap. Great. It's a good goal to have. We've talked a little bit about how to maintain your goals, how to keep motivation alive, especially, when there's no more motivation, how to keep going beyond the motivation you got, how to, go against the norm of giving up, and kind of strengthening your mentality, which all of it, there's a way to do it. But there's a couple of videos that I came across. Actually, I was having a conversation with somebody, and it was on the topic of fitness. And they told me, and two people I follow that are big streamers is Moist Critical, Charlie Penguin Zero, and then Zach Asmongold. I was sent two videos that I haven't actually caught up on, but I will be reacting to it. One actually has to do with fitness. The other has to do with partnerships, because what I want to talk about today is two things. We're going to talk about Hollywood and movies and all that fun stuff. But two things I really want to touch on is fitness and streaming, how it works business-wise, who's going to win the streaming war. And it might not be who you think, unless there are certain changes, and what might happen in the future for Kick, Twitch, and any other platform that's trying to do live services, right? So let's already get started. Let's do the go to some of the reactions, right? Let's get started.
Just like fiber in my colon, the YouTube algorithm works in mysterious ways, and today it plopped out a little something special onto my homepage. A beautiful little nugget that highlighted a scam that I would have never even imagined as a possibility. A YouTuber named Falfin, whom hasn't uploaded in 6 years, came out of nowhere from the top turnbuckle and delivered a smackdown onto a nutrition brand that had a protein powder that they were hawking that isn't quite what it seems. Now, if you read the title of this video...
These are pretty good. Actually pretty basic macros for a protein shake. I don't see any L-leucine. It's the major amino acid that you should have in your protein shake, but okay. But the other L-aspartate, that's actually a good amount.
Says this company sold cake batter as protein powder. That title is admittedly a little misleading, because cake batter is probably more nutritious than what they were parading around as protein powder and selling. It is a homemade label, and in that little screenshot there I showed you, the keen observers out there, the astute viewers, may have noticed that there's a bit of a big typo on that nutrition label. Instead of dietary fiber, it's dietati fiber. So this is not dietary is protein.
Dude, that's a big screw up.
Fiber, it's dietati fiber. So this is not a real label, and it actually gives me similar vibes to the OG pink sauce shenanigans. So it turns out, we're going to go through this video together. I don't know about the
pink sauce shenanigans.
This nutrition brand had this protein powder that was not as advertised, and it certainly didn't have the macros that it was pretending that it did.
If you're into fitness and live in Northern California, there's a decent chance...
Okay, so we're reacting from his reaction of the video? Is that what's happening?
Holmes Nutrition. Anyone that has tried Holmes Nutrition protein powder would say the following two things about it. 1, that it's the most delicious protein powder they've ever had, and 2, that it tastes just like cake batter. The powder itself even advertises how it's great for baking.
You asked for more ways to create?
My bad with the freaking ads, dude. Pisses me off.
1 scoop has 22 grams of protein and only 3 grams of sugar, but it tastes so much like cake batter that someone got suspicious.
Now, I'm not familiar with this brand. I've never heard of it before, but it seems like it had a lot of glaze with people praising its flavor in particular. It had great macros, judging by the nutrition label. If you ignore the misspellings of dietary as well as essential amino acids, it seems as though they called them essential amino acids. But
see that. Yeah.
Put that stuff aside, that pesky grammar and spelling, it all looked great. Now, real quick, why you should never ignore something like that on a label is these are extremely important pieces of information to get right. And if there are spelling errors in there, that showcases that something's a bit fishy, something's gone awry. Smells stinky. If a label isn't correctly, accurately describing what the contents are in this product that's being consumed, that can be the difference of someone getting sick. People...
Yeah, okay. He's 100% right. Like you could die from, like, depending on your nutritional needs, on consuming the wrong thing. You know, it goes all the way from like diabetes to being allergic to something to whatever. So it's whoever did this scam, which I'm guessing in the video we're gonna get to. The big issue is that we're going to like, even if somebody doesn't die, which they're lucky if it doesn't happen, is that you're possibly hurting people. And here's the thing: when I worked at GNC, there's a reason why you should buy protein from like well-known vendors. I know you want to support your local store, your like the guy that just started his company or whatever, but when it gets through the door of like GNC, bodybuilding.com, Vitamin Shop, even then there's screw ups. Like the only protein that was proven to have the exact macros and that wasn't being filled with like a nitrogen a high nitrogen level, which like skews the protein macro and actually has less protein, was like Dimetized Nutrition was the only one that if they said they had 25 grams of protein, it actually did have 25 grams of protein in that powder. And it actually tasted pretty good. And it was the one protein shake with the least amount of ingredients, the ISO Whey 100, right? And even then, there was other companies that like their protein, like I think it was BSN. I'm not sure if that's the company, but there was multiple protein companies or supplement companies where the protein would say 25 grams, 22 grams, and it was actually like 15, 16 grams of protein. It happened, there was a big, like, I think around 15 years ago, huge problem with protein bars where in the past either like they're trying to get fill in that gap of nutrition, right? Which protein bar is usually around 200 calories or so, 300 or so. And there was protein bars that tasted really good, but later on when they were tested, there was actually like 3,000 calories in one protein bar. So people didn't know why they were, losing, like they weren't losing the fat, or they were hitting the right nutrition macros, right macronutrients, and they still had problems. So it's important for you to go with a really trusted brand that you've studied, you went for. And again, supplementation is the last element of hitting your fitness goals. You should work on your sleep, work on your water intake, your diet, your cardio, and your lift. And then the last thing is supplementation. Great if you need a little boost, you get like an amino acid, some BCAAs, you get your multivitamin, then you go to protein shakes and whatnot. But those should be the last element. Even though they're easy, you just go buy them. Yeah, like it's extremely important you go with a very trusted brand. I think Jocko Molk and Dymatize are the two brands that like are some of the most trusted in terms of the protein powder. Now, another rule of thumb, he said, like everybody was glazing up how good it tastes. I always had a rule: if it tastes like crap, it's a really good product. Like there was this, I forgot what it was. It was a nitric oxide, and it was just unflavored. They didn't have any other flavor. But it's if you ain't clumping, you ain't pumping was their slogan, and I think it's like Plus Labs or something like that. It tasted like you put it in a pre-workout or something with flavor, and it's gonna make even that thing taste like crap. But dude, the pump, the blood that goes through your veins, and when you get to the gym and you start lifting, like it was insane. It was awesome. But yeah, it was gonna taste like freaking dog water. But let's get back to Charlie over here.
Make their decisions on things based on these kind of labels, especially when it comes to people with dietary restrictions. So if the label can't be trusted, that could be legitimately dangerous for some individuals. This is something you don't fuck with. So with
and another thing, I was reading a study about how we actually, because we've been reading for so long, we're conditioned, our brain is able to read the word even if it's misspelled or the letters are jumbled in between them. If I think it was like the first and the last two letters are correct, or the first one of the middle letters and the last letter, you can still read it even though the whole word is completely misspelled. And so that's something that even I, like when reading the label, maybe the first time I won't catch it. If I was an employee at GNC like I was before, I'd probably catch it. But yeah, that's dude, that's that's a big no-no, man.
Consideration, so many people talking about how closely resembling cake batter the flavor profile was for this brand and how low the sugar was. There was someone on Reddit who, just like my boy George, got a bit curious and decided to send this out to a lab for further testing, just to confirm, like, does this actually have the macros that it says it does? Is this actually what the label is telling me it is?
This Redditor sent in 3 different flavors of Holmes Nutrition to a lab. They sent samples of chocolate.
Look at the label. Like, that looks super low quality. Like somebody did this in their garage. You know what I mean? Like that. Okay, so you see those bags at GNC. We would get the same ones for the GNC gummies that you could just get as a free sample, and then you could actually buy. It was like a multivitamin gummy or an amino BCAA gummy or something like that, and they were really, really good. Like I filled up on these suckers, and they came in like a silver instead of like that purple. They came in a silver bag exactly like this, but they were so lazy that they just smacked like a piece of paper that they printed from their freaking local library and put it on these bags. Like, nobody deserves to get scammed like this, but I'm glad that they were so lazy. They didn't take the time to do this so that the scam was found out. Good on this Redditor who like actually took the time. Like, he took time and money based off his curiosity. Like, he's not getting paid for this kind of stuff. Like, I wish there was actually, funny enough, Moist Critical and Asmongold, they have a company, I think it's Starforge, the penis shaped rocket computers. And there's I don't know if he's a YouTuber or a streamer, but they ordered one and they're very famous on reviewing this kind of stuff, and they try to make sure that they didn't get exceptional treatment to review it. So they made sure that they didn't know that when they bought the PC, it was from like a regular customer instead of an influencer. And I wish somebody did that with supplements, where they like sent it into labs and shown like, hey, this is the results that this particular company got. We sent in multiple stuff, because man, like, health and fitness is not a freaking game. It's very serious. Like, you could take and again, when something is in powder form, there is a level of risk depending on your body when you're taking consistent powders. And like, if you don't understand diet and that's your whole diet is just protein shakes, it's going to have an effect on your on like your digestive system and everything. It's gonna, there could be issues. Like, there supplements, it's in the name, to supplement a diet. If you're taking supplements without a diet, like, that's why there's a bunch of warning. Every single supplement has a warning label, right? But yeah, so let's get back to it.
Of Holmes Nutrition to a lab. They sent samples of chocolate cake, lemon cake, and cinnamon crumb cake to this lab, Certified Laboratories, and all 3 powders came back with the same results. Instead of 22 grams of protein, this protein
3.4?
powder had 21 grams of carbs instead, and only 3.4 grams of protein per scoop.
This is really good editing, by the way. I can't even do this.
Boy, howdy, that's quite a bit different than what the label says is contained in that product. It's a far cry from what's advertised with this protein powder. 3 grams of protein is shockingly low. I could fart into your mouth and you get more protein from my ass than you would from this powder.
Is your healthy eating routine getting boring?
Dude. This is the reason why I like watching his freaking
Let's
videos.
take a peek at Betty Crocker, just the most popular packaged cake mix. You'll get 1
Betty
less
Crocker.
gram of protein in the package, but if you prepare it as you're supposed to, you would actually get 1 more gram of protein from preparing a fucking Betty Crocker cake than you would from drinking a Holmes protein shake here using this. It's like the LaCroix of protein powder, where it's the idea of protein. It's so weird. Like, I cannot believe how little protein there appears to be in this product based on the lab results here. 3 grams is actually shockingly low. I know I've already said that, but I am stunned because I would think, like, even if you were trying to make some, like, misleading product here, you would think that there'd be a little more protein in that. Just
lag. I don't know what the freak is going on.
Somehow, it's like they went in there and intentionally removed all of the protein they could possibly find. Like, you could eat a handful of grass and probably get more nutrition out of that. When I went back to the original Reddit post, it seems like this was a very popular brand of protein powder, at least in the local area. For years, Holmes Nutrition has been a well-known local name, someone everyone preached about as being legit because he's friends with so many people, but recent lab results show that the product has been severely mislabeled, sold under the appearance of a higher quality protein powder than it actually contains. I personally have been buying Holmes Nutrition for over 4 years, believing I was getting a high-quality product. People I know have even picked up their protein directly from his house, trusting they were buying from someone who cared about his customers. Instead, they were handed a product that didn't come close to meeting its advertised nutrition claims. And in the comment section, both here on the YouTube video and even in other places like on Facebook and stuff and other like Instagram and things, there were tons of people talking about how long they've been purchasing this product. They've been loyal to this brand for years. And when you are trying to better your health and fitness, one thing you do is keep track of things like macros. So people were buying this and working it into their daily routine as part of their macros and their nutritional goals in order to hit what they wanted to achieve, what they were setting out to achieve. But they were being misled the whole time. They weren't getting near their protein threshold that they were looking to hit. And in some cases, you could even make an argument it was hurting consumers, as you're going to see more in this video here and in the original Reddit post. Because this is incorrectly labeled, there were people buying this product that probably shouldn't have because of like blood sugar spiking and stuff like that.
Yeah, also insulin spikes. Like, insulin spikes are good depending on the time you consume the product that will spike your insulin, right? Like, I'm not going to get into all the drugs that bodybuilders take because I don't even know all of them. But to spike your insulin does promote muscle growth depending on the time that you need it spiked. And obviously it could kill somebody who is on insulin or can't have those type of insulin spikes. They need to moderate it, like people with diabetes. But dude, it's so freaking dangerous, man. Like this is a whole level of being scummy because you're also banking off people who usually are desperate. Like, I stopped training people when I stopped training people mainly because I was that kind of like no excuse guy, and every like when I trained, you know, somebody who was like a mom or like I just couldn't hear complaints. And I do the gym for me, and if you want to work out with me, I'm like all for it. I'm not the like most intense guy in the world. I'm not gonna make you go through just this insane workout, but if you're training with me, we're gonna take it seriously. We're not going to have small talk. The only people I'll like tolerate if we're gonna have small talk is when I train my mom. I used to train my mom at 5 a.m. Or sometimes my wife, maybe. But I'm not gonna do this whole rigmarole. And one of the main things that I actually did enjoy talking about was nutrition, was a dietary plan, because consistency, like the ultimate diet plan actually is when you are eating all natural foods. And you know, you could go into which, you know, your steak, your potatoes, your rice, your avocado, that kind of stuff. And then having like the time, like if you eat your breakfast every day at 7 a.m. and you eat every day at 1 p.m. your lunch, and then every day at 4 p.m. your dinner, just those three, you know, and you could split it up to more meals per day and with the same amount of calories, but it's always consistent at the same time, you're going to get some pretty great results. And depending on when you have your water intake and how much, you know, in the morning versus how much during the day, whatever. That's the kind of stuff I like to talk about. But it is if you're tracking your macros, it is actually pretty difficult. I always did it in a way where I actually set it up where I knew each like tray or whatever, where when we cooked it, if I filled it up all the way to here, I knew the weight of it already. So I just like made lines. So like if I filled up the steak, if the canister was like this big and I filled up the steak right here, I don't need to count anymore. You know, always weighing my food. I know exactly that amount of steak is pretty much the 50 or 60 grams of protein of steak is right there, you know, or the rest of the macronutrients of that, and then rice, and you know, like I'd shove it in and make sure it wasn't tight, and then make the lines so that and I would label that box, or like it was a glass container, the container, so that it was very easy for me. Like we just cook everything, and then if there's leftovers, great. I'll either give that to my wife, or I just eat a little bit of extra if I was bulking. And yeah, like this video's starting to piss me off, man.
This is why these labels are extremely important, because someone who's like diabetic needs this information. They rely on this information, so that way they don't end up putting themselves in a dangerous position by consuming something that they shouldn't. So when this product gets tested in a lab and turns out it's not even close to what's being advertised with it, and the label doesn't reflect what's actually in there at all,
just like it's not
it becomes
at all.
A huge problem, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this brand sued. Honestly, huge W to the Redditor here, who decided to take it upon themselves to send this out to labs to confirm if this really is what Holmes Nutrition says it is. I think that was a very important thing to do.
I dare you to let me build
How many effing ads are there gonna play when you don't have ad blocker, man? That's freaking insane. Wow.
Absolutely obsessed with getting buff and working.
Here's the funny thing, like Penguin Zero, Moist Critical, Charlie, whatever you want to call him, he did a whole video how he's like turned off super chats and whatnot. But then like, I don't know if he did this setting, but there's like a million ads. Like, I'm a regular dude who's doing YouTube, right? He's a regular guy who does YouTube and streaming, but he's to that level. And you can set up the settings where there's a certain amount of ads per video, and this is how you make money, right? Is ad revenue. And that's something you can't like just turn off. But it's like, I would prefer if you kept the super chats on and then like only did one ad per video. that's just me, not hating on it, but I just find it funny.
I was lifting at the gym 5 days a week, and of course, I was hitting my protein macros each and every day.
You thought?
Or so I thought. So you can imagine my absolute despair and nausea when I found out that my favorite protein powder that I had been using for years was not even protein powder at all. Just a sweet batter mix with trace amounts of protein. An egg, a single egg, has double the amount of protein than my protein powder had. The protein powder I was spending $75 per bag on.
Oh.
Yeah, protein powder's not cheap. So it seems like, based on the available information here, Holmes Nutrition was like the cheapest fucking cake batter type mix you could find, and packaged and then charged a fucking arm and a leg for it. She's right.
Dude.
A single egg is double what you were getting from the fucking Holmes protein powder. I'm giggling, but it's actually diabolical. She has been working out for a long time and believing to be hitting her protein goals thanks to the assistance of something like this protein powder. But turns out this entire time she wasn't, because she wasn't getting the protein she thought she was, because this is complete fucking phony baloney. She'd been schmeckeldorfed by Holmes Nutrition here. If I found
the other thing is like the psychological issues that come with putting in so much effort towards something and then have nothing to show for it, and she probably did make results, but also knowing that she could have had better results if she was on a different protein powder, because she'd be hitting different macros. Like, she's taking in a lot more carbs, and dude, there's a lot of grounds to sue. Like they could have killed somebody. These people could go to jail for freaking ever for this freaking scam. This is, like you said, diabolical. It's a perfect word. I don't want to say evil, but it's diabolical, dude. It's freaking insane.
The protein powders I'd been using for the last decade were actually just, pixie dust or something, and dirt and sawdust.
Yeah,
I would be pissed. I would be extremely upset.
And and he said before that they were buying it from the guy's house. If I was that guy's friend, and then that video came out, and I looked it all up, I would go over there and beat the living crap out of him, dude. And then I wouldn't call the cops, because then I'd get arrested. But I'd find some way. That is insane. That's insane.
I saw a lot of other comments from people, even outside of like the potential dangers of someone like consuming this and having like a blood sugar spike or something like that because they didn't know or anything like that. Even outside of that, people were taking this and then wondering why they were plateauing or not like seeing any improvements when they were hitting the macro goals that they set out to and what should be leading to improvements, thus causing tons of confusion and wondering, well, what's going wrong, without ever suspecting that their protein powder they were relying.
And with everything I said, I'll give it this. You shouldn't be if you're not reaching, if you're plateauing and not reaching similar results, you're probably trying to take 100 grams of protein just from your protein powder per day. Yes, that you're able to do that with the right protein, double scoop, 2 protein shakes a day, not a problem. But, I would question the rest of your nutrition. Again, they are taking more calories. Like, there's other things to look at when you're plateauing, but yeah, like obviously diet's the biggest one. Here's one thing: I've never trusted really any form of cardio machine that tells you this is how many calories you burn. So if you're doing cardio right, you usually should be good. You're usually doing a little bit more than what's needed to be at a calorie deficit. But but regardless, it's a valid criticism, because you should be able to, take in 50 to 100 grams of protein through your protein powders a day. 2 scoops after the gym and 2 scoops in the morning if you need to, just to have some meal. But yeah, that's valid.
Was actually the real culprit. It's such a fucking mess.
So first of all, Holmes Nutrition Protein Powder is not sold in big box stores or on Amazon. It's a company created by Sacramento-based bodybuilder Bobby Holmes and his wife. It's only...
Dude. He has a phenomenal physique. Like, his lats could use some work, but you gotta be kidding me. Like, and he has a freaking thick neck, dude. Maybe he did some wrestling. But, brother, like, this makes it a million times worse. Because he's a bodybuilder. Maybe he only made it to amateur levels, but he's competed. Like, almost nobody, like, if you think about how many people have competed on the planet versus how many people go to the gym, almost nobody competes. And he's competed at a pretty decent level. I can't tell what age he is in this, but it's possible he took roids just by like looking at his midsection mainly. But it's also possible he didn't, because it's not overall developed. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of strong points that are pretty, like, the easier parts to make big, right? But if you're a bodybuilder, self-proclaimed, and let me see this, Bobby Holmes is an experienced bodybuilding competitor and is currently an NPC judge. Okay. He's also a judge. This guy is a scumbag. He knows how hard it is to have a lifestyle based around bodybuilding and like hitting your macros and like trusting in a company. Like, dude, this guy is a piece of garbage. And his wife. Freaking slutbag, man.
On its website, holmesnutrition.com. So how did I even find out about this protein powder in the first place? Well, the smoothies that my gym made were fantastic. So one day I peeped at the protein powder they use, and I wrote it down and then went home and started buying some.
Hey everybody,
another ad, dude. Another freaking ad.
All-in-one comp.
Her story is one that I saw shared by many others. Apparently, a lot of people found out about Holmes Nutrition through their local gyms that were making protein smoothies there, using that powder, and people were just blown away by how great it tasted, that they also wanted to find out what the fuck was this protein powder. It tasted just like cake batter, but for only 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein. Holy shit. $75, I'm losing money not buying it. So people were then buying Holmes Nutrition protein powder. Awesome. This was the gateway drug here. They believed that they had stumbled across something that was truly unlike the rest. It tasted incredible, and for only 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein, they were losing money not giving Bobby Holmes 75 clams. Their body was withering away, shrinking and shriveling from atrophy without being fed this holy elixir that tasted just like cake batter, when really the whole time they were deceived.
So for me, I'm one of the lucky ones because this just affects my gains, but for others, this is a major health issue. The Redditor included in their post that they even saw a comment on Bobby's Instagram from someone saying their blood sugar shot up despite the label claiming low sugar and carbs. To make matters worse, in the comments, people were buying this protein for their diabetic family members that have been having issues with their glucose while taking this.
Oh, freaking A.
And this commenter had real-time data that this protein powder was causing sugar spikes.
Now, these are just Reddit comments, so this could be as real as, my dad works at Bungie and he's going to have you banned off Minecraft or something. But this is something that is very testable. You can monitor blood sugar spikes. And there are so many people reporting it, I'm willing to believe that that is probably accurate. The lab results are pretty conclusive. There's not a lot of wiggle room for that to be in error. And since we now know, based on that, we can't trust the label, since the label is very inaccurate, we can assume that the ingredients are not properly reflected in what is on that label. So
yeah.
they probably weren't able to achieve
ingredients, I would say,
this
is probably the
flavor
most
with
important
being
part.
low sugar. We know it's not low carb. It advertised 4 grams of carbs. It's actually over 20. The sugar content is also probably higher, which she is about to dive into in just a moment.
Usually
so I
when
do
the carbs
think
are high,
that
you
it's
have a good,
probably legitimate claims here
like,
that people
over
that were
30
using
grams
this
of sugar
product
or 20,
were probably
20 to 30
experiencing
grams of sugar.
fluctuations in their blood sugar levels as a result of it.
And that's dangerous, dude.
Because they were taking it under a false pretense. They were misled, thinking that it was low carb, low sugar.
The original post with the lab results were posted on Reddit on March 3rd, 2025. On March 27, they posted an update saying that Holmes Nutrition has removed all of their protein powders from their online store. So when we go to the Holmes Nutrition website, it has the following messages, starting with the bottom being the oldest. Unfortunately, we have encountered an unexpected issue with the manufacturing facility for the protein.
Bullcrap.
Due to the large increase in demand, the current facility was having issues.
The message is still
Like,
on the site
they
to
did
this
the
day.
label
It's been
themselves.
like this
They did the
for
label
many
themselves.
months now.
No
and
company-
actually, a lot of customers of Holmes Nutrition found out about the potential fraud because they were Googling, where is Holmes Nutrition protein powder?
Look, no company, even a small, tiny company, would never have misspellings in their nutrition label. So it was them, 100%. There's probably no manufacturer. They're just buying cake batter. Like it would be like the easiest job ever, just to buy cake batter and then hold it at your home and then just ship it out consistently a few times a week. Like, yeah, there's no way. And like, think about it this way: they were keeping it local. They were trying to not make this brand blow up. There was no advertising. I've never heard of this brand. There's no advertising. Like, and if you're in the fitness industry, like like if it takes you a week to pretty much see every single protein powder that's out there, because it starts getting in your face. People are advertising. YouTubers, bodybuilders are creating their own supplementation. You go to GNC, Vitamin Shop, Vitamin.com. Like, as soon as you type in some fitness thing on YouTube, Google, whatever, you are bombarded with ads. Yeah, like, there's no freaking way. That's a bull-faced lie.
Googling that, a lot of people found this Reddit post. So people unintentionally stumbled into this knowledge that their protein powder was severely mislabeled because they were trying to buy more of it. Now, Holmes Nutrition doesn't appear to be
there wasn't no
acknowledging it
recall
in any
either.
way, shape, or form. They're kind of plugging their ears to it, putting their head down and just saying, oh, it's temporarily off the shelves because we got to find a manufacturer. You guys just love it so fucking much that we've got to stop selling it online for now while we look for another manufacturer. That's the only reason it's not here right now. I imagine the reason for that is probably obvious. If they did say, like, whoops-a-daisy, you got us, well, we're going to have to start changing our label around to be accurate. Sorry about the inconvenience. They would be sued into fucking oblivion like that.
Yep.
It would be instantaneous. So their only card to play is just ignore it and hope people don't try and, like, pursue further action against them. I don't believe the story that they have to find another manufacturer now. That just seems like a convenient excuse. I don't put any stock into that being truthful. You can't trust their label and you can't trust their word, it seems.
For myself, it was either in March or April of this year, 2025, that I first noticed the products were unavailable on the website and that Holmes was citing manufacturer issues. So since the Reddit post was already up by the time I independently noticed their website, I don't have definitive data to show if the products were pulled down before the post went up or after, or in response to this post
It went up
exposing
after,
them.
for sure.
But given the timeline within the post, it seems that these messages
March
on the
3rd.
site were after or in response to this Reddit post. Okay, wait. As I was editing this video, I saw this Instagram post from Diamond Tier Fitness, which is this gym in northern Sacramento, that said it's selling Holmes protein.
So it seems like while it's not available to order directly through their site, they are selling it through local
That
gyms.
looks like a better label.
And the reason for that, at least in my opinion,
Again,
is that
local
they
gyms say that
probably
they
have
could stay under,
recognized
yeah.
that people online are a little more privy to the potential falsified nutrition label here.
Yep.
And thus they believe selling their inventory that they have left, which I imagine is probably sizable, they probably have quite a lot in stock that they want to offload. They found the best way to do that would be locally doing it at these gyms where people aren't just going to stand there and start like Googling it right then and there. They'll just be like, oh, this, I'll trust the label. Since we have all been led to believe that labels are accurate, they are supposed to be 100% representative of what is actually the contents of that product. So people are most likely going to be inclined to trust it if they buy it in person as opposed to online where they might.
And here's the thing with labels. You're still supposed to take them to the proper channels, but you can, it's cheaper if you make them yourself. The company makes them themselves instead of getting it directly from like the FDA or whatever. However the company does it, like especially if you're starting out, you have to send it in to get tested, but it looks like they didn't do it. It's like if you're doing power washing and cleaning in Florida, it's going to be really hard to be competitive because there's like kids out here that they're not opening LLCs, they're not paying for insurance, they're just loading up a truck, and then they are not shortchanging, but underhanding every single official businessman who does power washing and cleaning. So this is kind of like what they did, where like they don't have to spend all this money taking insurance out, going through the proper channels to get everything, and then they stick with locally so it stays quiet, because in a world with the internet, the lowest risk is to not be on the internet, especially if you're committing fraud, which is insane. So yeah, that's why it's at local gyms and you can't buy it on your own. And he made a good point. Like you just come across and you're like, oh yeah, this tasted good. I had a shake. Awesome. Best tasting protein I ever had. Cool. Take home, and then you're none the wiser.
Post. So my theory is
4 months,
they're
by the
selling
way,
through these
at
local
least.
gyms because they have all of this inventory that they know they can't really sell online right now. It's a little too hot, hot tub is too hot.
Done.
So they're doing it locally, hoping that people will be none the wiser and won't like look into it past like, oh, yummy, this tastes great. And that's what I think, at least.
We have got to the point where
Dude,
literally
another ad, man. Again, it's my fault because I don't have ad blocker or whatever. I don't got the money for it. My fault.
Out this video and looking at my bag of protein powder, I noticed that the dietary and dietary fiber on the bag is spelled wrong. So this indicates that Bobby and his wife created this nutrition label spelled wrong. So this indicates that Bobby and his wife created this nutrition label themselves, which is allowed by the FDA, but does open the door for extreme inaccuracy and lack of trustworthiness in what's claimed on the label. So the FDA does not approve supplements or protein powders, so you're never going to see the FDA approved stamp on any of them. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean they are exempt from the FDA's labeling regulations. They still have to follow the FDA labeling laws.
That was fascinating to me because I didn't know that you could just make your own labels for the product. I knew protein powders weren't FDA approved. I think most people in the fitness space do recognize that. But I didn't know you could still just make your own fucking labels and just pull numbers out of your ass here. You can't. As you mentioned, you still have to follow like the labeling laws. But I still thought you couldn't even just do that as like, some goober sitting at your home computer and typing it all out. I still thought it would have to go through something a little more official for something like that.
In addition, it includes non-dairy creamer as an ingredient, but pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Section 101.4b, if an ingredient is made from 2 or more ingredients, it must declare the established common or usual name of the ingredient, followed by a parenthetical listing of all ingredients that ingredient is made of. So this has more ingredients that make up that non-dairy creamer, like vegetable oil or possibly even dipotassium phosphate, which are common ingredients in non-dairy creamer that are just not listed in the ingredients list. Additionally, it says cane sugar as an ingredient, so we know there are added sugars, but it just lists sugars. 3 grams.
Dude, they didn't even try.
The Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Section 101.9 specifies that added sugars must be declared separately from total sugars and include the percent daily value. So, not only is the protein and carb content completely misstated, but there are just so many problems with pretty much every aspect of the packaging.
Yeah, to me, that's kind of a slam dunk right there. There's not a whole lot of argument that Holmes Nutrition could possibly make for why they wouldn't fully list out the ingredients there that make up that creamer, nor why they didn't separate sugars and added sugars.
That's another
thing. Reason they wouldn't do the added sugars is because it would look a lot worse. There's probably a lot of added sugars in there, which is how they're able to achieve that cake batter-like taste that they're so famous for, most likely.
Here's the thing. The local gyms could get sued too. And they should, because they just accepted a vendor. They didn't have any due diligence, like whatever. Is it the gym making the shakes, or do they have a GNC type store inside the gym? There was, I think, Max Muscle in some of the gyms where I used to go to in Utah that were like attached to it. And there was some like brands that I didn't know very well. Like I was like, oh, this looks interesting. But yeah, like, they could get sued if they're just like, oh, we're just accepting like this guy's company, and there's contracts involved. There's a lot of things involved to make sure it's legit. It's not somebody just being like, you know, taking a piss in a cup and then sprinkling lemonade in it and being like, oh, this is a lemonade amino acid that's ready to go. Like, yeah, like the gyms, like there's no ignorance is bliss. Like when you're a company and you're a gym, you got to be real careful on selling supplements. This is insane that like local gyms are doing this as well. Like just accepting their product and selling it. Because that means those gyms did no due diligence as well. That's ridiculous.
So her looking at the ingredients there and showcasing how it's not exactly compliant with the established protocol, I think is a very strong piece of evidence that this is all fucking bogus. That what Holmes Nutrition has done here is just reprehensible. And it could be just downright dangerous. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it has opened them up to lawsuits. The lab tests are pretty hard to argue against as well, where it confirms that the protein, the carbs, all of that is just drastically wrong. So how the fuck could Holmes Nutrition even come up with an excuse?
They can't.
They really can't, which is why I believe they're not. That's probably why they're just radio silent and just selling locally through gyms now, it seems. Now, in the original Reddit post, they believed that the lab results indicated the presence of amino spiking. Falfin, however, disagreed with that notion, and there's a whole segment Falfin dedicates to proving why she believes it's not necessarily amino spiking here, and I highly recommend you check out her whole video so you can see her piece on that. I will, however, show you her conclusion for why she believes there's such a discrepancy between the lab results, protein, and what's listed on the bag here.
Amino spiking would still show up as protein in lab tests, so the lab test listed would not be showing only 11% protein on the results if it was amino spiked. This lab test specifically uses the Kjeldahl method, which would still read high protein. Given these facts, I disagree with the original poster that Holmes is using amino spiking. To me personally, it really just seems like we just have a complete misrepresentation of the protein versus carbs content, and that the nutrition and ingredients label is just simply wrong. I'm not a lawyer or a judge, so I can't say whether this was intentionally deceptive or just severe incompetence.
Given what she explains with amino spiking, which I wasn't entirely knowledgeable on in the protein powder space, I think she did a good job of explaining why she believes this isn't the result of amino spiking, and I agree with her conclusion that it probably is just grossly mislabeled. And while I understand it's impossible to say if it's intentionally, maliciously done this way, or if it's just them being extremely fucking stupid, like they're all just bumbling morons over there at the Holmes Nutrition HQ.
No, their intent was to scam. Let's just put that out there. It was. You're a bodybuilder. You understand the space. It doesn't even matter if you're amateur. Like when you get to that level, when you even think about competing, even if you studied the wrong stuff, you studied things quite extensively. You got pretty obsessive about how protein works in the body, how carbs, how fats work, what's polyunsaturated fat, what's monounsaturated fat, what is saturated fat, how do amino acids work, what are amino acids, what are BCAAs, why is this such a big thing, how did bodybuilders, especially as a guy, like how are bodybuilders making it during the Arnold era, the golden era, how are bodybuilders doing it now, how to not, like, you know so much that you seem like just a regular person having a conversation with you, even if you know the basics, you seem like a freaking genius in terms of bodybuilding. Like, this guy knew enough to put on a good amount of muscle. You saw his size and compete, and him and his wife are doing it. They talked about this multiple times. This was to scam. This is ridiculous. It freaking pisses me off, man.
I feel like, given all of the other factors at play here, to me personally, it feels like it probably is this way by design. Yeah. It feels like they are intentionally trying to make this product appear as though it's something that it's not, knowing full well when people try it, they're going to love the flavor, and since they see these great macros on the back, they're going to be like a lifelong customer, as you've seen from so many other commenters and so many other people speaking up about like how betrayed they feel for years spent buying this product. So I feel like it's probably by design, but of course I can't say that with 100% certainty. But regardless, it's a huge fucking problem.
I like making my podcast. Allegedly. I don't
Another freaking ad, dude. Whole video. Wait. All of this is alleged. Put it out there. I don't have proof. I'm saying my opinion from what it looks like to me. But you know what's up.
I know this was a long video, but I just had to talk about this.
It's a great
I'm
video.
not a YouTuber. I'm just a person that is angry and wants other people to be aware of this.
And
if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. I hope you have a great day and that you don't find out that you were scammed by your protein powder.
She also had a segment in here where she was mentioning other protein players in the space that were facing legal hot water, being sued because of mislabeled products, that maybe didn't have as much protein as the label said. So, like, there is a precedent set where you can't just completely fucking lie about how much protein is in your product. Now, as for whether or not Holmes Nutrition is going to face any legal ramifications, who really knows? But really, this was a very interesting video. Falfin mentions she's not a YouTuber. She was just a victim of the scam and wanted to alert others to it as well. And it's not something that she's doing just trying to fish for clicks or farm a drama or something like that. She was buying this protein powder for years, wasting hundreds of dollars over the course of this period of time, and she's far from the only one. You can see tons and tons of testimonials from people claiming that they've been buying this for years, spending upwards of like $2,000 over the course of this period of time, all under the belief that this product was helping them achieve their health and fitness goals, when really the truth of it appears to be, based on the lab results, that it was actually hampering those goals. It was actively working against them. That fucking sucks. Like, that's terrible. That's a degenerate scam right there, based on all available information. So I just found this to be so interesting. Falfin absolutely crushed it on this video here. I know she says she's not a YouTuber, but I'm curious if she's going to do any other content in the future, because this was just really well made. And hats off to the Redditor who did the initial investigating in the beginning, sending this to a lab, being alerted to the fact that something is just awry here. It's a bit fishy. And then decided to follow through on an investigation to make sure that, everything was above board here. And then what they found out, they shared with, the world. So that way other people weren't getting, misled by it anymore. So, anyway, I just had to yap about this one.
Yeah, okay. That really pisses me off. Like, Falfin should create more videos because she does better job than I do, better job than a lot of YouTubers I've seen, with her editing. I think she should stick with YouTube, and she has 2,000 subscribers. Like, that's not nothing. That's pretty awesome. She should continue posting, and I think it's great that it somehow came across Charlie's feed, and that he actually made a video about it. There's almost 2 million views on it. I really hope Charlie sends it out to the fitness YouTubers, because that's how it's gonna blow up. If multiple fitness people talk about it, like, everybody's gonna start, like, if you get just 2 big YouTubers to talk about this, it's gonna blow up across all the channels. And then, like, there will be, steps will be taken to ensure that these Holmes douchebags justice will be sought after their scam. That they, if it's not a scam and they were duped, it doesn't sound like it to me, but fine, like, sucks for them. Like, I do believe in innocence until proven guilty, but they need to find out who is the one that effed around. I believe it's Holmes, but that's what I believe. That's what the evidence shows so far. It's just a YouTube video. This girl could be lying and just made a really great video, but I don't think she is. I think she was very just honest, and like, I'm reacting to a video, I'm not looking into it. But if this is true, which similar things like this have happened in the past, dude, whoever decided to run the scam should be freaking locked up. This is disgusting. Okay, that's ridiculous. When it comes to fitness, a lot of people believe they have to buy the right diet plan, the right trainer, all this stuff, and they have to be like, know everything before they start. You can just start. Okay, I would say supplements is the last thing, and you should study the supplements you're taking, and also understand your body. Like, a lot of the supplements, which nobody does, but a lot of them say, like, seek a doctor before taking the supplement, and nobody does it. Nobody. Never even met a person that did that. But like, that would be a pretty smart thing to do. And buy things from, please, a brand that's been around a long time. And I know that's contradictory to what I usually say, like, support your local, your small businesses. But when it comes to your body, there are no jokes. When you put something in your body, it could screw you up immensely. There was a pre-workout back in the day that had like high doses of meth, and like people died from it. And I forgot the name. Like some actually got addicted to meth, and they didn't know what they were addicted to. They were crashing out, and they might have been like extreme dosing on those pre-workouts to get 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, which also has killed people. But like that's insane. That is ridiculous. Because fitness is also one of those things that everybody should be a part of it. Everybody should be worried about staying healthy and exercise just to be a regular human being. Like, exercise used to be a normal thing where you went on a farm and you worked on that farm all day, because that's what our bodies are made to do. That was your exercise. Even stay-at-home mothers, where like they're cooking in cast iron pans, they have to go to the market, they have to help butcher some of the cows or the meats that they have around, the lamb, whatever, and then like cut it apart, skin it, whatever, to provide a meal for their family. They had to be hands-on. They're washing cloth diapers. And it's not a washing machine. They're like really getting in there and grinding it. Like they're helping with the animals. Like they're putting on some muscle, and they're burning like around 5,000 calories a day. And so that's why you never used to see fat farm wives, unless they were a pig farm. Pig farms was actually very well known to have fat women working on it. But yeah, and you are what you eat. You know what I mean? So, damn, that freaking sucks. That's terrible. Let's go to the next video. Hopefully less ads for me, because it's that's what you're going to get with my reaction on live streams. When I edit and make it into its own video, it's going to be different, right? But The next one is how I lost my biggest partnership, and we're gonna do a two-part. The video, it has less time because I'm gonna go into from what I've seen the other one, the Asmongold video, and I'll determine at the end, and we'll see if it's something that like fits with what I want to talk about. But yeah, let's do that.
Years, I'm finally blowing the lid on this. I can no longer keep my lips sealed shut on it. You can only keep the genie in the lamp for so long before someone comes along and rubs them out. I posted a video 2 years ago called I Just Lost a Major Partnership. In this video, I was pretty upset and whining and crying like a baby whose mother denied him a titty about the fact that a partnership that I had been working on for a long time and was very excited about had recently just been blown up by them for the silliest reason imaginable. Actual dream partnership. It's a company that I literally have grown up with my whole life and have always wanted to work with in a big capacity, and finally we had a big thing in the works, and I never named that company. I tiptoed around it, treated it like Voldemort's name, but today I am going to name that company. It was PlayStation. We had a huge deal in the works with PlayStation to do a lot with them, with Dead Space and Final Fantasy. And then I released the music video Filthy. It's a song from Troy and I
the
of
only
The Gentle
song I've heard
Men,
was,
and it's a joke song that's
guy.
just over the top, gross, and yucky. And the corporate suits over there at the Sony Games division were left aghast at this music video, shocked. They reacted to it the same way people used to react to Two Girls, One Cup or One Guy, One Jar. They fucking flew back in their chair, hand over their mouth, gasping, and they then canceled all of our partnerships, not only with Dead Space and Final Fantasy, but every future deal was now off the table. And over the course of 2 years, I assumed that they'd come to their senses and realize how fucking stupid that is, all just because of this music video that most people probably don't even remember. And it's not even that bad. It's just overly sexual to a ridiculous degree as a satirical take on it's not even that big of a deal.
Maybe you consulted Cardi B.
I'm not in there just spamming slurs or anything. I don't fucking show my whole asshole and flop my meat around, fire hosing the camera or anything. It's not a big deal. It's really not.
Some people don't think what he said was a big deal if he actually did that.
Some of the most well-written, thought-provoking pieces of lyricism that have ever come out. Putting the pen to the paper for some of these lines, the paper was catching on fire. Especially those first couple of lines. That is the whole reason we learned to read and write in the first place. That was the apotheosis of written words. The shit I spit is grimy, I make her pussy slimy, I know she got a boyfriend but that bitch will never find me, remind me what's on my mind, see, this girl's got me screaming like a hemorrhoid in my hiney. That's Shakespearean.
Solid.
Come the fuck on.
Solid.
They're Eminem, Kendrick, all of the top tier lyricists that you see on those top 10 lists, they could never. They couldn't. They shan't. Yet I did.
He used the word shan't.
And got punished in a big way for it by PlayStation.
Impressed.
It's been 2 fucking years and I'm still blacklisted. We almost had another deal go through with a PlayStation property. That one I won't name, but we almost had another one go through, and at the last possible stage of that deal, Sony PlayStation came in and smited it. They said you cannot work with them. Am I on crazy pills? Am I the only one that this is extremely ridiculous to? It was a song 2 years ago, and they hated it so much that now they got my fucking face on.
Do you think, because Sony has their own music label, do you think that was part of it? I have some thoughts, because obviously they don't understand their clientele. If you are a video game company, and this is why the whole woke thing doesn't work, is because your clientele are degenerates. We are all, anybody who games, you're usually a degenerate in the best way possible. As in, you're saying every slur that has ever been invented as you're playing, especially if you're playing Call of Duty, Halo 2, original Call of Duty, where there was a bunch of queers everywhere, but you're actually engaging in that sort of talk, and it's fun. It's, some people are doing it angrily, but even that's funny. And it's just, that's the community. That's what you're building it for. So if anything, him making that video and anybody who actually liked that video, those are the same people buying your game. Like, you're not making games for other corporate suits, man. Like, what? Like, do you not understand your clientele? Like, anybody who owns a console or a PC and they game, that's part of the experience when you play live. I get it if it maybe was specific games, maybe Final Fantasy, I don't know. Like, if it was like Spider-Man and he's saying, had that music video, it's like, okay, you can't be part of Spider-Man, but we could be part of these other games because Spider-Man were catering more to kids and whatnot. But even then, dude, like, those kids are gonna grow up and gonna hear worse things than Heiny and Slimy.
Dartboard at the Sony HQ throwing darts at it. Like, they hate me there for it now. I wasn't shit talking PlayStation property in the song. It wasn't even bad. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But it still, to this day, has prevented them from ever wanting to work with me in any capacity. And it sucks because, as I mentioned in that last video, this is a company who's got a lot of property that I am a huge fan of. Like, a lot of games and a lot of things that spin off of the games, like shows and shit. A lot of stuff they have under their umbrella that I am a big fan of and would love to, like, work with them in some capacity, but I cannot at all. They refuse. I am like a pariah at the Sony headquarters over there. All because of a completely unrelated music video 2 years ago.
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC.
All for just being authentic, huh? Just being a real person. Freaking A. Oh. My bad. 1 second. Damn. My bad. I effed up. How did I freaking... How do I fix this? Good freaking Lord, man. I pressed some sort of button. Why is this open? Full screen. There we go. Got it back. Are you guys ready? Ready to hear some more insanity? Or not, because I didn't put the sound on. Damn.
2 years ago. Now you're probably asking, how do I know it's the music video specifically? They fucking told us. They literally told us why. Because we were like actually like only like 2 or 3 days away from doing a Dead Space thing, like a big Dead Space partnership. And then I dropped the music video, and like the day after that came out, we got the notice that it was all completely canned. And when Matt was talking to them about like, hey, you know what happened, they just told us why. They said it was because of the music video. They weren't shy about it. Like, we're not speculating that that's why. They fucking told us that that's why.
Or somebody was like, it was awesome,
like maybe the person that we were communicating with over there really hated that music video, and he like sabotaged this internally because he didn't like it. Hair. And maybe like the Sony Games division has no idea. I don't know, but maybe that's just me with the fucking tinfoil condom on with the conspiracies. I don't know. All I know for sure is that we were told the reason that we will never be allowed to work with PlayStation ever is because of that music video. I think it's silly. Like, the songs, like, that's the sex anthem. That song, Filthy, it invented sex too. And they're going to disrespect Troy and I like that? Showing no respect to the gentlemen? What kind of world are we living in, huh? I decided to finally let the cat out of the bag on this because it's just so clear now that they're never going to work with me in any capacity. So what's the point in bottling this in? It's such a silly story. I wanted to share it in more detail. Because when I first talked about it, I had to talk around it because I was hoping that maybe the relationship between us would be mended and repaired over time. But that day I just don't believe will ever come. Not even the book from It Takes Two could bring this relationship back together in a healthy manner. Oh, also, I definitely want to put this in here. It's not directly PlayStation themselves here, but the butterfly effect that kind of spanned from it. So after the relationship with PlayStation folded like fucking origami, after they put the kibosh on us, well, our longest running partnership with a company, G Fuel, we were with G Fuel at the time, we had been with them for years at this point. Well, the head of G Fuel comes to us after all this, and it was around the time where our contract was set to auto-renew, and we wanted to have this big call. And he came to us and he said, look, we know about Filthy. Okay, and it's not the Manhattan Project. It's not some kind of secret experiment. You know, it's a music video that is still on my channel.
What did they say, man?
And then he goes on about, like, we know about Filthy, and we know what it's done.
Oh, freaking A. What, it weeded out the losers? Is that what it did? We know about Filthy. It weeded out losers. We know what it's done. No more loser companies are going to work with you. Okay.
And then he goes on about, like, we know about Filthy, and we know what it's done. We know about the lost partnerships because of it, and we also recognize we're taking a huge risk keeping you on board.
Yeah, freaking
and this
right,
dude. Went on for a little while, eventually getting to the point where he brings up the contract, saying, like, you know, your contract is coming up, and to account for the risk we're taking, we're going to need to make some big alterations here. And the changes were make it significantly worse, make it complete dog shit. Turn that contract into a piece of toilet paper, basically, where it was everything in G Fuel's favor. Like, they get the whole kit and caboodle, and all of our like previous terms.
Where does he come up with these terms, man?
All because he was trying to now use the Filthy music video and lost PlayStation partnership as leverage in his contract negotiation with us to fuck me in the face. Just preposterous, really. I have no doubt he never even watched the music video or anything like that. The song was not even like super popular, so it's not like a huge risk. It's not like everyone was talking about Filthy like, wow, this song is... This is some bad stuff.
That's the first time I'm hearing about it.
You know what? Let's just say Filthy did get so much popularity to the level of like Party in the USA or something. Like, if it was to that level of popularity, I still don't think there would have been any fucking brand risk issue. Like I don't think like there's ever anything in that song or music video to warrant PlayStation getting all bent out of shape about it and fucking blacklisting me for it, or
like I would like I've watched 2019 guy
leverage in a contract negotiation because it's such a huge risk for them. Like, it's just so absurd, all from like one quick joke music video and song. So yeah, I really wanted to share this in detail since it's been 2 years now, and it's very clear that I will probably forever remain blacklisted at the PlayStation HQ. Also, I've well moved on from G Fuel. Gamer Supps is significantly better. Goof Juice is the best beverage this world has ever constructed.
I don't know anything about Goof Juice.
The perfect elixir. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about the legacy of the Filthy music video and everything that happened from it. It's about it. So yeah.
There was a few years ago, the owner of OnlyFans found out that they pretty much created a, can I say the word on here? A finagle site where you finagle your fadongle, you know? And he was like, no, we gotta get rid of that. Like, that's not what I intended. I intended it to be a site where like you could be an influencer, and for exclusive content you could pay that influencer directly a certain amount to be part of their exclusive content or see their exclusive content. And it's like, well, it became hell of exclusive. And then the company almost tanked because he was getting rid of all the OnlyFans content. That's the reason why people go to that website for, right? And so, but then he caved and was like, no, this is the clientele. Like, I don't know if he sold the company because of his morality or whatever, but he's like, you know what, to keep the company alive, this this is what the company became, and I didn't keep up on it. Fine. It is what it is. So video game companies, unfortunately, they don't do the same thing where they realize like, this is our clientele. People who use slurs, people who do not offend easily. They'll say whatever it is to whoever and to one another, and they are still at the end of the day friends and playing a game and having fun. Like, imagine if YouTube and Twitch and Kick realized that like anybody who games, they actually are going to get freedom of speech and say whatever the hell they want to say. Like, there's no 100% authentic YouTuber, Twitch, or Kick person out there. It doesn't exist because of the terms and conditions, because of like censoring what you could say and what they deem to be offensive and whatnot, right? It's freaking retarded. So, but freaking video game industries need to realize who their clientele is so that they could stop making garbage games, because there was this whole era of every video game company can just borrow as much money as they want with no repercussions, and now they're starting to feel it. Finally, it's starting. And when I say it's starting, it's not that it's good, it's just it's starting. Some game companies are hurting right now, and they're going to stay alive for a good amount of time, like another 5 years, right? But they're starting to bleed. And we finally got a hook in, boom, and chipped a tooth. But we got to still put some damage to that body. You feel me? So, like, that's like Charlie he's one of the number one examples of who the gamers really are. Asmongold is another one, mainly because he talks about what he says or what he used to say. Who knows if he games on like a separate account that nobody knows it's him, and then he's just like calling Jews every single slur, calling black people every single slur, that like, or using their slurs to every single person that's out there is what I mean. Because that's what's happening. That is what's happening. I still do it. Not hardcore, because I never got to that point, but that point has gotten to me where like somebody would call me like any slur that exists. I've been called that slur. Every single one. I guarantee you. Like, I grew up on Halo 2, Call of Duty, all of it, man. It's, even if it wasn't to me, I watched my brother play. He's a little older than me, and he played Halo 2 like a mother effer, and Halo 3, and dude, the chat or the mics were going off, man. If it was too quiet, somebody would just like say, like, just yell out the N-word with a hard R, and then like everybody, I remember going to like visit my cousin. Like, we're the youngest cousins. We would visit our cousin in like Oregon or something, and they'd be playing Halo, and they're like, oh, if we're playing Halo online, we have to turn off the mics. I'm like, why? We have to mute everybody. Why? It's like, oh no, sometimes people say crazy things. And then later on, I found out it's like they were also saying those crazy things. So yeah, they don't know who their clientele is. Freaking morons, dude. So I guess that would be a little more separate. Like, gosh, video game companies need to figure out who their clientele is. It's so stupid. All right, let's go. Let's react to the next one, which is not really a reaction. It's more of like a rewatch, because I did want to talk about it.
So if you look at this,
let's go
in here. We're going to say that I've streamed for about 8 hours right now. We're going to say that we have 9,000 viewers right now. We're going to put the average at about 8,000.
Okay.
If every one of you is watching at 1080p and you have been the whole time, it costs Twitch $4,360 to run this stream. That's how that works. That is why Twitch is losing money. This is the reason. Per year? No, for this stream. That's this stream, not per month. This singular stream at 8 hours of stream.
Yeah.
Dan must fucking hate me. Where is this? Okay, low latency streaming, one channel, standard HD, and then we're gonna do a 6-hour stream for 20,000 viewers.
It's probably costing like $1 million or $2 million.
Oh,
it
geez.
shows, so
and I
I'm not doing
usually
math in
stream
my head. I'm
every
just like-
single day, but let's assume that I miss 20 days, okay? So it's 8,000 times 300 instead of 65, it'll be 45.
Almost $3 million.
Because so Dan Clancy confronted me about this situation. We were having dinner together, and I asked him, am I costing you hundreds of thousands, or am I costing you millions of dollars? And he did not answer. And now I can see why.
The root of the problem is if you're taking hair tips from Asmongold, I think we've gotten to the root of the problem right there.
I don't get that. Okay. Whoa, scary. All right. So here's the thing. If Twitch and Kick want to stay alive, the only streaming platform that will win in the end is actually YouTube. Because, dude, they run ads even in the middle of a stream. Like, you'll be watching somebody stream or, you know, whatever it is they're talking, they're playing a game, and then an ad will run. And that's probably what draws people to Kick and Twitch. You know, it's a factor that might draw some people over there, right? In order for them to stay alive, they got to find some way to implement ads, whether it's like every time a stream actually starts, like they have to watch one ad. And like, why the freak are we lagging here, man? Oh my gosh. Okay, they have to start implementing ads in a way where right in the beginning of the stream, there's going to be an ad for whatever it is. Or if there's a sponsorship, which this is the scummy part, which could happen. Hey, like you're on our platform, you're on Twitch, you're on Kick, whatever. We get 10% of the ad revenue that you're supposed to, you know, get. So that way Twitch and Kick can stay alive, because they've been able to stay alive, especially Twitch, because of what they're valued as, which is almost fake money. Like, yeah, but like it's more like opportunities, because everybody's an employee. Anybody who streams, you are an employee. Okay? There are little to no incentives to start being a streamer. Okay? So, and we'll get into that, but the way Twitch and Kick, the way they work, is that they don't really have thumbnails. They just have live streams just going, and you just pick one. If you've never seen any streamer before, you can just pick whatever one, and hopefully you like that one and you subscribe to it. And if you want to donate, you donate, and that's it. You're just watching somebody do something live. Doesn't matter what it is. So how is Kick and Twitch making money? They're making money off people investing in their company because so many people go to it. But they're not generating money back to those people who invested to them. They might be in a way, but it's obvious that they need to find a way to make even more money, which is every company's goal. And one way, like, you got to realize who your employees are. Like, how does your employee going to generate money to you? Okay? So that's one way to do it. Or is it, like one thing I've always thought that, and it's not because I'm a small streamer, but I always thought that would be perfect, is to have a category for small streamers. Like, okay, if I'm watching Asmongold, and let's say it makes similar content, when his stream is over, it shows options of people who just started in the past year. And people could scroll through them who has similar content, you know, or like have a page where like these are the people who are ranging 0 to 10, and like it promotes them a little bit to be like, oh, you watch this, here's a recommendation of people who just started out. Great, because you want more streamers to be more successful. therefore bringing in a new audience. Because like, think about it this way: if everybody's streaming at the same time, everybody has different taste who is a viewer. So if somebody likes Asmongold, they might like him for a long time, very faithful viewer, but then they want to try something else, who maybe still makes the same kind of content, because what they want to see is the content that Asmongold is making. But there's a different perspective over here, and they're both streaming at the same time. Well, he could still keep growing, and then this person is also growing. So then if everybody's doing that, more people are coming from different platforms to your platform to watch the specific person, right? Even if it, and it's because you're all doing it at the same time. Like, the beauty of YouTube is you could be subscribed to multiple people and have multiple things going. You could be, you know, like, you could watch multiple videos on the same topic from different influencers at different times. And unfortunately on Kick and Twitch, you can only watch one at a time, and then they have to be live. Right? People are not really going over there to see old stuff. They are going over there to see what's live. You know, like, it's ads, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, they are a good means to an end. The reason being is that you're going to need ads to make money. Like, YouTubers, like, you saw on this live stream that ads were being run during Penguin Zero's channel, and there was like 10 ads to one 20-minute video. Obviously he got money from that. Like, maybe because I skipped them, he didn't get that much money, or didn't get any money at all. But if you watch a full ad through, like, they get some money from that, and that's great for them, and that's great for a streamer or a YouTuber or influencer, whatever you want to label it. It's awesome. But the platform itself also needs to make money, and it needs to find a way to make money from the people that are using it to have a career, because that's the point. Streaming, the point of streaming eventually becomes, this is my job. And it might not feel like a job, but if that's how you make your livelihood, it is a job. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner. If you have to be present at the business, you have a job as a business owner. That's simple. And yeah, like, it's not like a freaking Einstein formula. They just are going to start implementing things that might hinder their popularity for a minute, but they'll keep their company alive. They'll keep these platforms alive, because Twitch obviously is hemorrhaging a lot of money. And like, a $3 million loss is bad in and of itself. They're not profitable at all. It's impossible. They don't have ads. Like, maybe I'm mistaken, I haven't been on Twitch in a while, but last time I was there, they don't have ads running on the sides, or like before you, like when you type in twitch.com, there's an ad playing before you even get into the platform. Like, I know on Kick, like, I've never seen an ad on Kick ever. That, like, they're gonna have to do something, and regardless of what they do, it's gonna be unpopular, because right now it's nice. It's nice for you to just hop on, find the streamer you like, and start watching. You know, it's a nice thing. But yeah, it's whatever they do is not gonna be popular, and that's that. There's no way around it. They're gonna find a way, and I think the first thing will be ads. And then they're going to offer you, like YouTube, premium memberships, so you don't have to watch ads anymore. Like, think about Costco. They don't make money. Like, they do make money off food, but their main money maker is the membership. It's not the food they sell. It's just having membership. Because the thing is, the same people that are going to shop at Costco will eventually shop at Walmart, Publix, like Albertsons, whatever grocery store, Aldi, because it's not always convenient to get to Costco, you know, or they don't need a bulk of something. So like, oh, I just need a quick thing, and then they shop, and then they don't have to shop at Costco for a long time. So they already made their money just by the membership, man. It's a genius thing, and there might be like that, and it's gonna be just like YouTube. It doesn't advertise for premium membership at all. Amazon does. Every time you buy something and you're not a Prime member, they try to make you a Prime member. But YouTube is just like, you're going to get so annoyed with ads, because before it was like only one ad and you could skip it after 5 seconds. Now there's 3 ads, and sometimes you could skip it to go to the next ad and then skip that to get to your video, the video you want to watch, which sucks. So you're going to get so annoyed, and then you're going to pay the premium membership when you're able to. And I think Kick and Twitch are going to eventually go that route because they need to make some money back. It's that simple. Anyways, back to our scheduled programming. We're going to talk about how I'm sick and tired of people being deluded of Avengers Doomsday like it's going to be a good movie. Dude, the last Avengers movie wasn't a good movie. Not Thunderbolts, Endgame. They lost their touch a long time ago. And that was the Russo brothers. It was a garbage movie. The hype was the conclusion of the story. That was the hype. Like, think about No Way Home. The hype was we were going to get 3 Spider-Man. Nobody was talking about the plot. Absolutely nobody was talking about, like, how are they going to do it? They were just like, dude, if we get to see Tobey Maguire again as Spider-Man, awesome. And then who stole the show? Andrew Garfield. Just coming straight out of left field. Why are we hyping up? Like, that's, if they're going to make $1 billion, if Avengers Doomsday is going to make $1 billion, it's going to be because of hype. And that's it. That we're bringing back the original actors for these characters. And even if it's full-blown gobbledygook, that's the reason they make money. I don't believe for a second we're actually going to get a good story. Like, there's so many characters. They're bringing in the X-Men. They're bringing in, possibly Deadpool. They're bringing in, like, just everybody they could think of, dude. And is it going to be like a 5-second scene to get to the plot? Is it going to be like just a throwback scene and then we're just going to get freaking blue balled the entire movie? And granted that their marketing is they're ramping up the marketing and it's starting to get pretty good, but they should have been trying to fix it with your singular movies of a singular hero. Like, they're already effing up. Like the Spider-Man news, we're going to get a movie of Tom Holland's Spider-Man with like Hulk and these other characters. And it's like, dude, we just gave you the shot of the lifetime where you can restructure Spider-Man back to the roots and make him not reliant on Iron Man. He made his own suit now. He's living in the apartment. He's in college. We are starting off in the perfect part of this Amazing Spider-Man comics and the Spectacular Spider-Man comics, where he's out of high school, which again in the comics he never was in high school for that long with spider powers, and he's out of high school, and now like we could get a perfect like Spider-Man story connecting from the MCU Spider-Man of his backstory as a youngster. And it's like, all right, I'll accept all that now because we're going back and you found a way to propel it forward. You're getting rid of Zendaya, who looks 12 forever. You're getting rid of Ned, who maybe you might make the Hobgoblin. Like, he's in a position where he should have always been screwed. That's Peter Parker. He's always getting screwed, but he's doing it because it's his choice to, because he has the responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. He is able to make those decisions because he does it for the greater good. In the best form. He doesn't sacrifice people for the greater good. He sacrifices his life for the greater good. For just the good. Gosh, dude. Like, and they're already effing that up. Like, let's put a bunch of characters that we like. Dude, I don't want to see the Hulk in a Spider-Man movie. Especially the newer, like, and put Tom Holland on a workout regimen. Hire a chick for the real Mary Jane. Redhead, white. That's MJ. Okay? That's the real MJ. they could do kind of like Smallville, Lana Lang and then Lois Lane, where he transfers from being super in love with this one chick, but that's not his soulmate, and then actually going to Lois Lane, the real one. And again, Smallville, they prolonged that way too much. But yeah, man, Avengers Doomsday, like, come on. There is no hype. You got cool cutscenes. What's the story, man? Let's go back to the leaks of the story. Let's think about who's writing it. Let's think about who's still in charge of this. It's like, oh, we hear the news for Kathleen Kennedy coming out of Star Wars. What the fuck are we doing, man? So what? So what? She's out of Lucasfilm. Like, damn. You got Dave Filoni, who's also a freaking bastard, and he's not going to do anything to fix Star Wars. He's just going to make more garbage. He's the one that approved the Acolyte. He approved Ahsoka. He did all this bull crap. He's the one that made the World Between Worlds. What do you think is going to happen? And you think taking one person out is going to fix the rest of the company? Dude, if one person is in charge, they hired people in multiple projects to be in charge that are like-minded. There's an infection in that company with at least 50% are all psychopaths. So don't come at me and sell me this bull crap that they are going to fix this damn company. Like, Star Wars is dead. It's gonna be dead. As long as it's under Disney, there's no chance. 0% probability or possibility that it can ever be fixed. Not 0.01, not 0.0001, zero. Negative even. Gosh, man, like, why are people so stupid and retarded? It's insane. But Doomsday, complete trash. It's not gonna be good. I hope it is. Not hope. I'm okay eating crow. I don't want bad media. I don't want bad Star Wars. Don't want bad DC. I don't want bad Marvel. But they've conditioned me to expect that. And they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt, man. They took things we loved, effed around, and then served us while screwing us from behind without the courtesy of a reach around. So why are we doing this? It's pissing me off, dude. Like, did you see this? It looks so good. Like, the X-Men are back, man. Stop sucking the corporate chode, dude. Freaking realize that they are just using the hype so that they could get your money to make more garbage. Like, this has been done multiple times. Like, think about like Star Wars Legends. Okay, by the way, all same company. Disney, Star Wars Legends. It was like, oh, they're putting the Legends books out there. They're updating the covers. They're doing their own Black Series stuff. It's because they know that the fans, the original fans, might buy those. Therefore, they've generated some money so that they then made Mandalorian Season 3 and 1 and 2, because those were also garbage. And they made Acolyte. They made freaking Ahsoka. They made all this trash. Not because you supported the trash, it's because you supported the good stuff. You can't speak with your wallet to these people. They consider you all idiots. Okay? They consider you stupid. And unfortunately, fans have been acting that way. We're like, oh yeah, I'm going to support the stuff I like and support the things I don't like so that they know this is the stuff that's going to make the money. That's not in their mind. They're like, how can we get the idiots who believe in this ideology, take their money and make these retards the fans? So we'll make more retarded content. We'll make more retarded films by using these morons' money. Like, dude. Like, think about it this way. If your business was selling computers and you hated typewriters, but there was more money in typewriters at the moment, and you were a typewriter company that moved to a computer company, you're gonna find a way to take money from the typewriter people to fund your computer company. Because right now, people are not buying the computers. They're buying only typewriters. And you hate typewriters. And you hate the people that buy typewriters. But you know they have money. So you're going to take it. You might even make an even better typewriter. Or you might just repolish the old typewriters. And then everybody's like, damn, that's nice. Like, yeah, I'll go buy a typewriter. Like, this company they still make typewriters. I don't like that they did the computer stuff, but they still make typewriters. So I'm going to support that, so that they know they should make more typewriters. No, they're just going to keep making that consistent garbage, because they believe it's garbage. They're going to make those typewriters because they consider you stupid and garbage, so that they can use your money. And you think you're not supporting them because you're not buying their computers, but you're still buying the typewriter that they created. And then they're thinking, oh, look at these idiots. They think they're buying typewriters, but they're actually funding these projects that they hate. Because these projects is what we love. We want the fans that like these, not these fans. That's what they're doing, stupid. This isn't like back in the day where, like, speak with your wallet. If you don't want to support a company, show them that you don't believe in this product, and then they're gonna revamp and do it. Their mind is no longer business. They put a bunch of people in there that ideology comes first, money comes last. Product comes last. Ideology is number one for these people. And it isn't one person. It's the majority of this company. If they made consistent crap, that means you have multiple crap as employees. Ta-da, magic formula. So don't stop having hype for Kathleen Kennedy being out. It means nothing. Disney didn't come in and pull an Elon Musk. Like, hey, I bought Twitter, 80% gone. If we heard that, maybe we might have some hope. Possibly. That's the only time, and it doesn't mean that we have hope, but we are allowed to have some hope if that happened. Be like, hey, Dave Filoni is now in charge, and 80% of the company is gone. 80% of people that were just useless, ideo douches, they are gone. Okay, then great. Let's talk about how we might have Star Wars back. Let's talk about how Disney Star Wars might be erased. Let's talk about how Luke Skywalker might come back and the Legends books are now canon again. That kind of stuff, great. Because again, no matter how you feel about Legends, that's what George Lucas approved. He contradicted some things from his own movies, from books to other books, yes. But he approved those things. And that's the creator. That is literally the god of Star Wars. And we're just going to accept a big corporation saying, like, that's not canon. Which we did, by the way. So I don't want to hear it no more. I'm sick of it. Like, people are on live streams. People are like, I like Star Wars Theory. Again, I've always said this. He's way too nice. I don't know what his opinions are on Kathleen Kennedy. I just know I jumped on a live stream. He's like, oh yeah. In terms of Avengers, he was like, the X-Men look great. And I'm like, dude, no. Like the X-Men are coming back. And he looked like a little kid. Like, great. I'm happy he's excited. I'm not going to be happy when he's disappointed. I'm going to understand that that was his fault. I'm not going to give him pity, but it's going to suck seeing anybody who had hope and is a fan thinking that it's their fault, but it also sucks. I don't want to be disappointed. I'd rather be proven wrong. 100%. I want to see the best Superman movie ever. I want to see the best Doomsday portrayal ever. But just the casting alone, Robert Downey Jr. is not the guy for Doomsday. It doesn't matter if he does a great job. He wasn't the guy. He got that job because people are going to feel nostalgic for it. Imagine if Iron Man was the worst character in all of the Avengers. Do you think they would make him do the sacrifice in Endgame? Do you think maybe he would because he's old, an older actor? Do you think he would be Doctor Doom? It doesn't make sense. In multiple comics, Whether it's him liking Sue and trying to get like have a relationship with Sue, or whether it is he just hating Reed Richards because they were always kind of competitive. Whether it was about intelligence or about him and his mother being a witch and having sorcery and things like that. Like I would rather see storylines of Doom and Doctor Strange. Because I'm willing to bet they didn't study enough about Doctor Doom. I am willing to bet. Like, you saw Robert Downey Jr. post that one comic, like, oh, I'm brushing up on my homework for the character. And that comic that he had on Instagram only has Doctor Doom in the cover. If anybody knows anything about comics, Doctor Doom is not in that comic. What homework are you doing, you stupid bastard? Like, you can't F around with the comic book fans. Okay? Like, and unfortunately, like, we've been handling the lube over and just getting screwed. The only fandom that is respectable is the Tolkien fandom at this point. There is no respectable fandom. The DC fandom, it's more like intense morons. You know, I'm one of those guys. But the Tolkien fandom is the only respectable fandom that exists, because we do not tolerate any damage. Like, there shouldn't be, like, dude, look at Peter Jackson. He got a whole lot of backlash after The Hobbit. Everybody was like, what the hell did you do, man? And then later, we gave him a pass because he did, we saw the problems behind the scenes, you know? But look at what he supported, the Rohirrim. He doesn't get a pass. Doesn't matter if he directed the most beautiful, amazing trilogy of all time. He does not get a pass. Like, Tolkien is sacred. That's it. Okay? Again, another reminder, George R.R. Martin still hasn't finished his douchebaggy book about his fetish for incest, because obviously that guy is, like, I've told you guys, I couldn't read past the first book. I couldn't read past as soon as I got to the part with Cersei and Jamie doing it. Like, it was very detailed. I'm like, this guy's a sicko. Like, who writes this detail about siblings boning, man? Like, that's insane. Ugh. Like, he could have made an adult novel just by taking those things out of the book and combining it into like a separate novel. The women would have ate that up. Freaking psychos. But yeah, there's too many stupid fans out there, man. Like, hope isn't just blind. There comes a point where hope is not enough. You're not supposed to have hope no more. You're supposed to move on. You're supposed to move on and find another way. Now, you can have hope, for instance, that somebody might come along and save Star Wars out of the grasp of Disney. That is respectable. But not hope that, like, a guy who has approved Disney's agenda and bullcrap is going to save it. Like, that's insane. That is stupid. Oh, let me fix that. Yeah. It just makes you retarded. Yeah, good Lord, man. I don't know how to make the fandom realize. I guess, like, I'm doing my part as much as I can, letting people know how dumb they're being. But just like, ooh, new shiny trailer came out. Looks like the Avengers is back. Marvel is back. It's not back, dude. There's so much screwed up lore. Like, we're not just going to forget about all this stuff. And let alone the garbage content we got. We're not going to forget either about their campaigns against the fandom in and of itself. Forget about all the racist crap that they've spewed about, you know, not having white men, or like, you know, anti-feminist stuff, which I don't know how the feminists didn't pick up. It might be because they're stupid as well, which is also a fact. But they didn't pick up on how garbage they treat the people that they're supposedly allied with. Like, think about it this way. They're making every stop to make every single character a mantle, which they're not, and then bringing them to like a position of, oh, every character is now black. We got a black Captain America, or they're either black or a woman. And it's like they're giving sloppy seconds, and they only believe sloppy seconds are going to work. They do not believe an original black character is going to be a good character. Like, if they did, they would have made like a movie about Dr. Voodoo. Like, where's the story about him? He has a pretty good story, you know. Let's go back to Luke Cage. Netflix had it, and what have you done with it? Absolutely nothing since you acquired it. Interesting how you've like absolutely not cared about that character whatsoever. Like, dude, it's not that there's so, and like Falcon was an original character, and then you just had to give him a shield, and now everybody hates that current character. But we all love Falcon, even in this type. Not even from the red and white suit that he had from the comic. We're like, oh, we like Sam Wilson. This is not a problem. And then you gave him the shield, which never made sense. And also never made sense for Steve Rogers to screw up an entire timeline, screw up the universe, just so he could get some Carter pussy, which I totally understand. You know, like, she's got a great rec, whatever. But I think his character, he would not have done all that, where he effed up the timeline, because this is, regardless if they ignore it, this is the lore that they established. He stole somebody's life and didn't stop the atrocities like 9/11, all that happening. He gave up being a hero. So forget the great power comes great responsibility. Forget everything he did. Everything he did was for naught, because he ended up being a douchebag, just like Tony Stark. Tony Stark could have saved Black Widow, but he ended up going back to being a complete douche, all because he didn't want to lose his kid, which would have been very simple. Just use the time stone. It's the only stone you need to go back for, and then revert back until you get it right. And then if you need to, you can find the exact date that you boned Pepper and just keep banging her until you get your kid again. Ta-da! Like, oh, because you got to have a great life, everybody else gets screwed. Hey, man. And if anything, the stakes should have stayed the same. And Thanos' whole reason for doing it was stupid, man. That motivation, like, as much as I like Infinity War, it was such a dumb motivation. In the comics, it made way more sense. It was literally, he was trying to impress the goddess of death. And he showed, and like, the goddess of death actually got jealous and pissed and condemned him because he did a better job than she did. And he destroyed half the universe. He did accomplish his goal. And then he got screwed over by the woman he supposedly loved. Like, he was truly evil. They made Thanos a misunderstood hero. That was stupid. Man, like, and this is Marvel. So, even though the Infinity War was a good movie, when you actually think about, like, the way they wrote it, even if it was good, their intentions, their thought process was already skewed. It was already going down the wrong way. And I would say Infinity War was the last good movie, but they lost their way around, I would say, somewhere around after Civil War. I can't remember the exact timeline everything happened, but when I saw Ragnarok, I was like, oh yeah, they lost their way. Like, I saw Hulk throw a temper tantrum, and he would not freaking do that. He's the Hulk. his anger has purpose. It has reason. And even if you don't agree with the reason, it does have reason. Gosh, dude. Freaking gay. So those are my 2 cents on everybody's hype on the Avengers are back and all that bullcrap. They're not back. Let's cut the BS, all right? Everything still sucks. It's still all gay. We still got the garbage we got. Nothing's changed from Kathleen Kennedy leaving for Star Wars. Nothing's changing for Avengers. They got too many cooks in the kitchen. It's all gonna be trash. You can take that to the casino, dude. You can bank that. Bet on black or red, or however you see me, fool. But man, like that pissed me off so freaking much. It was so stupid. I'm like, I didn't even watch the trailer. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, ever since the last one I watched was Thor, and I was just like, oh, he doesn't even have the Thor hair. F this movie. Don't, like, I want Thor to be freaking Thor, dude. Like, I'm sick. Oh, the actor doesn't want to wear the mask, that doesn't want the hair. I don't give a damn what the actor wants. This is his job. Portray the damn character. It's not supposed to be easy. That's why Thor should have never been fat. That's why we don't have fat actors in muscly roles. That's why they're superheroes, because they are super. We got heroes, then we got superheroes. They are the gods among us, DC reference, but they are elevated above the capacity of a normal human being, of a superior human being even. They have a higher capacity. You're telling me a god can just get fat? That's crazy. That's stupid. Oh man. Why do we why is this happening? Why are we so stupid? But it's fine. Calm down. Lock in. It's all gonna be good. Relax. Marvel's gay. DC's gay. Star Wars is gay. Tolkien's awesome. Most video games are gay. And yeah, that's where we currently are. All the changes they've made are still gay. And we might get good changes later on if we hear whole overalls. And if we hear, again, they have to prove themselves. It's very simple. These studios need to make perfectly good movies. After we see the first one, and great if it's this Avengers movie. I doubt it. If this Avengers movie, Doomsday, is good, great. We have started. Still doesn't give them benefit of the doubt. They need 5 good films consecutively, back to back, boom, boom, boom. And then 5 good pieces of content, whether it's TV shows, shorts, Christmas special. They need to be perfect. And then after we got all that collective and it's good, and we have like 2 or 3 years of solid content, then we're back. But we're not back from one good film. We're not back from one good show. They have to really prove to us that they're done with whatever political or geopolitical or ideology they got. They're done with that stuff, and they're like, you know what? Sorry, we spat on the faces of the fans. We actually do want to make you good stuff. Like, I'm all for forgiveness. All for it. If you're humble enough to realize that you effed up, that you made catastrophic mistakes, and you're trying to be a better person, in the spirit of the new year, perfect. I could even forgive Kathleen Kennedy if she just went like, you know what? I took some time to reflect on everything I did ever since the purchase of Lucasfilm. And if she came out at a press conference like, I did everything wrong. I had this thought, I have this thing, whatever, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to prove to you that I care about you guys. This is no longer canon. We're going to bring this back. I would even support Kathleen Kennedy. Like, all right, like this is a lady that lost her way, found her way back, and she is going to put her money where her mouth is, and then prove to us that like she is on our side. Great. On the side of the fans, not the side of ideology. Just bringing everybody together and just creating something that's a good story. And that's called a perfect world, which we do not live in. There's very few people like who was the like Schumacher. When he put the nips on Batman and created the films, he apologized after. He's like, I had an idea. I thought I executed it. When it came out, I saw it. Didn't come out like I had it in my head, and I am sorry. You guys have to see that. And everybody's like, oh, okay, word. You want another Batman movie? And the studio was like, nah. He effed up. But the fans were like, okay, like I see that. All right. You know, you're a humble guy. You know, what is your like? If you read on what he kind of thought he was trying to portray, you're like, on paper that sounds pretty good. He maybe just needed a partner to be next to him and be like, hey, yo, this is a little too much. We gotta rein it back in. Okay, like look at Zack Snyder. Did great on 300. And then what? We got like Sucker Punch. We got Rebel Moon. We got his DC, all from freaking garbage. And probably some other stuff too that I can't think of. The zombie movie. And most of that was like the studios just like not having any filter on them. Or too much filter. But there was no balance of like, hey, yo, Zach, we believe in you, but we need you to bring somebody else on who we also think has good ideas and is in the space. James Gunn is the same way. Oh, you did a really good job with all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, regardless of what you thought about how the lore changes and everything. I enjoyed all 3 of them. The first one the most. But it's like, okay, yeah, James Gunn, he's got the chops. And then Suicide Squad came out, and I was like, ooh, not a good story, but man, was it fun, and you made us feel good. So like from there, they just gave him too much freedom. Oh, you did Peacemaker? Ooh, rough, but half good, I guess. And then season 2, oh, terrible. And then Superman, oh, garbage, straight garbage. And then the cartoon anime show, oh, freaking even more garbage. What are we doing here? So yeah, these guys need partners. Rian Johnson's another guy. Yeah, he did do The Last Jedi, but he's also directed, apparently, from what I've heard, I have not watched it, some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. It was directed by him, but he just had somebody who made sure he didn't go freaking buck wild on his retarded fantasies. That's what some of these guys need. It is so simple on how to get this, going. Like it's, champions come in pairs of 2 because they battle themselves into perfection. These guys need it. These are just some of the few guys that need it. Christopher Nolan, he might not need it, but there's times where it's like, yeah, you're doing a little too much. You're out Nolaning yourself. Tenet, come on. Don't tell me that was a good movie. Prestige, phenomenal. Batman Begins, Dark Knight, great. Dark Knight Rises, rough. Terrible watch. Like, come on, man. Like, nobody's perfect. It's not that I want everybody to be perfect all the time. But, like, when you're humble, you're going to be perfect. Because you're going to bring somebody that has strengths to your weaknesses. And you're both going to battle out. George Lucas, he's not only a perfect example for almost every faction, like every way you could think about Hollywood, he's a perfect example. Return of the Jedi, he had some wacky ideas, and his ex-wife fought him, and also other people that were part of the project fought him on these ideas. Where he, like, Luke Skywalker was gonna don Vader's head. Like, there was some crappy ideas that George Lucas had for his own universe that he created. But people loved it so much, and they weren't yes men. Boom. And then on prequels, he didn't have crappy ideas. He had garbage execution, and he just filled too much. But all he had were yes men. There were no people to helping him ring it in. And then when he did Clone Wars, he trusted too much on himself and other people to just handle certain things because they were good at what he believed they were good at, and then just let it rain. So like he I would say he is like the Elvis and Michael Jackson of of directors of Hollywood. Like, Elvis and Michael Jackson don't get as much appreciation today as they once did, but they're still set the example of like everything they went through on to propel every other person that's going to be famous to not make those same mistakes. George Lucas is that guy for the directors of Hollywood. He just is, man. And he made it unscathed, unlike Michael Jackson and Elvis. But those are my thoughts for tonight. I'm chilling. You know, just wanted to put some ideas out there, react to some videos, and give you my 2 cents. I'm out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, douchebags. If you didn't like it, great. Give it a thumbs down. I'm cool with that. You know, if you liked it, freaking whatever, dog. Thanks. See you, douchebags.